This is Swati from Indira Gandhi National Open University. Hope you all are well. Today, I am with a person who's been a seasoned educator for more than 3 decades. She has been a beacon of guidance to her students and the faculty, a recipient of innumerable awards which are impossible for me to sum up in this interview. But just to make a note, she has been recognized as the most progressive principal of India by Rethink India Institute. So without wasting much time, I extend a very warm welcome to Ms. Malika Preman, the principal of Tagore International School. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking our time.
Thank you so much.
So, ma'am, my first question to you is regarding the new education policy, which was launched in 2020 in July. It has spelled out a lot of changes for the schools. I just want to ask you if you think that there's any welcoming change, and if there is, just share your thoughts with us.
Definitely, there are a lot of welcoming changes, and what I feel that yes, this policy should have come earlier. Lots of new things in it for the schools to take, which definitely will change the entire educational background of the country. What I feel that we lack a lot in research-based activities in our schools and in our institutions, whether it is schools or colleges. And NEP somehow, it's in some way is giving that opportunity to the students. Be it taking the vocational training for students from class 6 upwards, or giving students choice to choose different subjects instead of taking one particular stream. The opportunity given to students to choose some from vocational, some from regular subjects, this will definitely help students to imbibe more skills, to take more skills, and they'll be more future ready compared to the rote learning which is happening right now. Also, that the focus is going to change completely to competency-based education. Till now, we have been saying this for ages that there should be experiential learning, teachers should be facilitators, but somehow our course structure or our syllabus doesn't support that. End of the day, what matters is that the student should score a 99% to get into a good college. So the focus goes back to rote learning. But if we talk of competency, and now if we change the assessment patterns based on competencies, it will definitely change from rote learning to be a learner throughout their lives. And that is the focus which I feel is much, much required in today's time. Yes, we have been debating that we also have gone through schooling and we are doing pretty well. Our country is doing pretty well with our old education system. Why a change? We need to change as times are changing. The opportunities are changing. There's a lot more things available for students. So to make them ready for future, to make them ready to be taking the challenges, we need to give them skills, impart skills. And those skills can be imparted only if we focus on the 21st century skills through a competency-based education, through experiential learning, allow students to do more of research activities and come up with ideas and plans. Thank you.
Some excellent points made by Ms. Preman there. Ma'am, my second question to you is that owing to the pandemic, students are not following the same routine anymore from the comfort of their homes. So when they come back to school, what is your suggestion? How should the schools ensure that they are up to pace with the curriculum? Because the routines have completely changed, ma'am.
Yes, I agree completely here. And let me tell you, we were thrown into this situation. None of the schools leaders or school teachers were prepared to take it up the way we have now. Since we were thrown into it, we were thrown into the ocean, we learned to swim. And we all have done it very well. Classes have been going very well, but at the same time, we don't have the mindset right now for an online learning program. That takes time. Students, it's very boring for students also. And you ask me as a student, if I have to sit in front of the computer and learn, it will be very, very boring for me. Students have started losing interest in the classes because yes, initially it was a euphoria. It was a state of euphoria. We are attending online classes, sitting at home. Everybody was very, very enthused. It's dying down now, because they are also tired of sitting at home. The academics, yes, it is happening, but it is not happening the way it would have happened in an offline mode. There will be learning gaps. Although schools have worked very hard, we have ensured that online classes also has given us the liberty to conduct as many classes as we can, even in the evening hours. If there are students who want extra coaching, extra help, all that is happening. So for good students, it's going pretty well. For students who are not very much interested in academics, it's not helping them much. So definitely there are going to be learning gaps. What we have planned in Tagore International is that next session when we begin, we'll have to conduct a kind of a bridge course. That is taking some important points of last session, which is required for the next session or next class. We'll have to do around 2 to 3 months of a bridge course kind of a thing before we fully go on to the next year's session. Yes, it will be double work for the teachers. It will be double work for the schools. But if we don't do that, we won't be able to bridge this learning gap. So in Tagore International School, I can say that we have decided to take the curriculum in a manner that whatever is required for the skills or the minimum learning outcome, as NCERT says. So we'll focus on those minimum learning outcomes, ensuring that every child has reached that level before we go forward. So that is one. Second is that during this time only we'll have to also prepare students to come to school physically at attending classes. Because some of the students, I can share that when I was speaking with some of the students, they are very comfortable attending online classes from home. Because they don't have to get ready, they don't have to travel in bus, they don't have to spend any time in that, straight away sit in front of the computer. They want to attend, they attend, they don't want to attend, they don't attend. So many of the students, they have commented and they have told their parents that we are loving this, let it continue this way, we don't want to go into a regular school thing. So there again, our counselors will have to play a major role where they'll have to show the brighter picture, saying that it's very important to come to school as you develop more of social skills when you come to school. Sitting at home, academic can be done, but skills cannot be developed. Sitting at home, we cannot do that. So for that, they need to come back to school, and I feel these are two things which we'll have to take care of.
That was excellent, and she's made some good points. A bridge course is definitely needed if schools are to bring the students up to pace. Now, Mrs. Preman, you're already a very tech-savvy individual. So I cannot help but ask, what role do you think education technology can play in this pandemic era?
We are saved because of the technology, I'll say. And thank God, I'll say not only me, here in our school, our teachers, they are very, very tech savvy. And that is why very second day of lockdown, we could get into online classes. Yes, technology is going to play a major role even next session, even in the coming years, because it will be very difficult for all of us to come to full-time offline classes. Keeping the new variant of viruses coming, the mutations happening, and we will have to look into a blended approach. Whether offline or online, blended approach with technology is going to be the future, if you ask me. Because if, like in NEP, I spoke about research component. Research component cannot be done unless until we train students to sift the right information from the internet and use technology for putting it, for data analytics, for anything you talk about. Technology is going to play a major role even in future, not only in pandemic. Pandemic, definitely, it's only because of technology that we are still connected with our students. We could guide them, we could tell them what is the right choice. Even we organized career fairs, we organized various competitions. We try to give students all opportunities, everything online, but it's happening well and it's happening good. For students who are really interested, for them it is really happening very well. But in future also, we cannot forget technology. It is going to be a part of the school curriculum in future too.
That's something which we must swear by now. Technology is going to be the savior in future as well. So my last question to you, ma'am, is do you have any word of advice for our student community at IGNOU?
Okay, IGNOU is doing a wonderful job of imparting the skills, knowledge, and it has been in the game for a very long time. And I sincerely hope that IGNOU will focus more and more on research. I am very much for research in any field, whether it is education, whether it is media, whichever field we go. Unless until we do more of research, we come up with more of research books, will not achieve the motive of India becoming the best country in the world. So my message to the students will be, whatever you do it with full passion. Don't do it because somebody asked you to do it, or because it's very high paying job, or it is very lucrative, it is very impressive. No, do what you want to do, the way you want to do, and be the change, like Mahatma Gandhi ji said, be the change you want to see in others. And I'll say more than that, be the change makers, motivate people to change. So that is my message to all the IGNOU students, and all the best, IGNOU, and congratulations.
Thank you so much for giving your valuable time to us, ma'am. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. That was Malika Preman for you. With camera person Nidhi, this is Swati for Indira Gandhi National Open University.